meeting to order at 6 p.m. So before we start tonight's meeting, item 1.1, we have some special guests with us here this evening for presentation of letter of recognition to Sergeant Chris Amell and PC Ian Hunter and PC Brennan Conlon, who couldn't be with us tonight. Through the Police Services Board, we found out that there were awards being given out down in Kenora and different parts of the province, and we wanted to congratulate our own officers who work directly here in the municipality and to say thank you. So tonight we have a small presentation, but I'd like to read just a couple of the letters that we have drafted. So, dear Sergeant Amell, read your Order of Merit. On behalf of Mayor, Council, and the Red Lake Police Services Board, it is our honor to congratulate you on receiving the Order of Merit of the Police Services by Her Excellency the Right Honourable Julie Payette, the Governor General of Canada. We understand you received this award based on your commitment to the public, specifically your leadership, development, organization, and administration of Project Journey within the First Nations territory of as well as the instrumental role you played in the development and delivery of policing operations, the deployment program, and your involvement in planning the construction of the Pekanjikun detachment. Additionally, we would also like to acknowledge receipt of your quarter-century club pin for completion of 25 years of service as an Ontario public servant. These awards are a testament to your hard work and dedication. Thank you for your service to the detachment and our community, and the letter is signed by myself and our Police Services Board Chair, Shelley Kosa. So thank you. And one other letter to PC Ian Hunter, the Commissioner's Citation for Life-Saving in St. John Ambulance Award. On behalf of Mayor, Council, and the Red Lake Police Services Board, it is our honor to congratulate you on receiving the Commissioner's Citation for Life-Saving and the St. John Ambulance Award. We understand you received this award based on your actions on November 4th, 2018, where you responded to a motor vehicle collision on Highway 105 just south of Red Lake. These awards are again a testament to your courage, bravery, in the face of a dangerous situation. Thank you for your service to the detachment and our community. Thank you. With that being said, I'd like to call up Sergeant Amell and Staff Sergeant Matt Morlock and our Police Services Board Chair, Shelley Kosa. We're just going to take this opportunity for a picture.
Without their support, this isn't possible, and quite often the person up front gets recognized, but really it's the people behind them, and they did a lot to help me do what I did, so thank you very much, guys.
And you're more than welcome to stay for the entire
Yes.
meeting.
What an offer.
Yeah.
Is there donuts?
There's no food.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Take care. Enjoy the rest of the meeting, guys.
Okay, moving on now down to item number 2. The disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof, the agenda of this meeting, and from minutes of which meeting was member not in attendance. Seeing none? Moved by Councillor Christoph, seconded by Councillor Butterfield. Resolved that the Council of Corporation of Municipality Red Lake hereby considers sections 4 to 8 of Part 1 consent agenda as read and adopt the items. Would any councillor like to discuss any of the items 4 through 8? And I will start with Councillor Christoph.
No, I'm good with that.
Councillor Hager?
Yes. I would like to make a couple of brief statements on 5.2
5-2.
and 8.1. And I'm assuming we need to have some discussion on 8.15 and 8.16.
Councillor Paduch?
No, I'm good.
And Councillor Butterfield?
No, I'm good.
And we also need to bring up also item 8.9 for the conference as well too.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Councillor Hager, 5.2.
Okay, 5.2. This is with regards to Ministry of Children and Community and Social Services and their Ontario Poverty Reduction Survey. They're going to be posting a link. I think we're going to be getting it, but I'm just making a request that it go into our municipal newsletter. So that, because they really are trying to encourage people, general citizenry, and also people that may be actually in a situation where they might be in poverty, like suffering from poverty, so to get feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that follows the parameters of our yellow,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, the yellow.
our yellow.
I don't know.
newspaper advertisement. I know we could probably post this for sure on our social media,
Okay.
but I'm not sure of the parameters of our yellow newspaper, if this is something that we can put forward in there.
I don't see why we can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can make sure it goes out the next day.
Sure, yeah. Okay, and then 8.1.
8.1, yes.
Yes, okay, so this is with regards to the external committee minutes. I just really wanted to point out that the KDSB meeting in November, that our transitional house for new starts has been given a name, and it's called 10 Sisters, and I just think it's a great name, and I just think we should recognize or acknowledge it
Yes.
and refer to it that way. Mhm.
Fabulous. Thank you for bringing that front forward. And we got 8.15 and 8.16. Do we want to do those together with 8.9? 8.9 first.
Okay.
Which is the annual general meeting and NOMA conference, which I believe is in Francis. So we have everybody's name down on the resolution. Is there anybody that will not be attending? Everyone plans on attending?
That's a great one.
Okay. So we'll carry on with that then. And then 8.15 is the FCM Federation of Canadian Municipalities, which occurs on June 4th through June 7th. Typically, in the past, it's been Mayor and CEO that has attended. Last year I couldn't attend, and Councillor Perdue ended up attending. So is there any interest from council that would like to go to this? No?
Okay.
Okay.
If we need, I've gone before, but if there's no one else going, I would make sure we're represented. If someone else isn't available, but do we have to fill it right now, or
No, we don't have to. Typically,
or just keep the one spot?
yeah, typically the CAO goes along with the mayor, but unfortunately, I was unable to attend last year. I think I can this year, but if something changes, could I let you know, Councillor Perdue? And you could fill my shoes?
Yeah, as long as we,
Would that be fine?
yeah.
Okay. And 8.16 is to approve attendance for AMO down in, is it Toronto this year? Last year it was Ottawa, this year.
It's still up. Is it Toronto? Okay.
It's in Toronto.
Okay.
It's not Ottawa. So is there any interest for AMO? All right.
I'm interested.
Councillor Hager? Anyone else? No? Okay, so we will put council's blessing, we'll put down Councillor Hager and myself and the CAO to attend to you. No other interest? All those in favor? Moved by Councillor Hager, seconded by Councillor Paduk. Resolved that the Council of Corporation of the Municipality of Red Lake hereby consider bylaws section 9 of the Part 1 consent agenda as read without amendment being the first and second time. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Butterfield, seconded by Councillor Christoph. Resolved that the Council of Corporation of the Municipality of Red Lake hereby consider all bylaws section 9 of Part 1 consent agenda as read a third time and passed. Would any councillor like to discuss any of the items put forth in front of you? And I'll start with Councillor Paduk.
No, I'm good.
Councillor Butterfield?
I'm good.
Councillor Christoph? Councillor Hager?
No.
All in favor? Carried. Okay, we have no referred and deferred items. We'll move down to section number 11. Reports of council, the Rural Ontario Municipal Association conference that was recently attended. And I'll turn it over to the CAO to start the discussion.
Sure. So once again, the Roma conference was, the site was the Sheraton Hotel in Toronto. It was well attended again. Our amount of meetings, kind of, they align with the amount of meetings we've had in the past. I think the AMO we had last year in 2019 with 11 meetings was not your typical conference, but we're very fortunate to get that many meetings. Not saying we didn't ask for a lot. I believe we requested 13 and ended up with 4 specific delegation meetings. And our meeting started Sunday afternoon and they ended at Queen's Park later today with the opposition leader, Andrew Horan. So overall, good meetings, made some traction. Still lots of work to do yet.
For sure, thank you. I don't know if Councillor Hager or Councillor Christoph? We'll start with
Oh,
Councillor.
sure, okay, it doesn't. All right, so one of the things that I went to that really impressed on me, the necessity of having regional networking and cooperation and coordination between communities. There was one on economic sustainability for areas, and I really think that that's where we need to work with NOMA, with KDEMA. Like that, yeah, it just really reinforced that for me. The other thing was that the message from Jamie McGarvey, he's the president, correct?
AMO president.
Yeah, AMO president. One of the things that he was saying was that we absolutely have to fight for stable and predictable money coming from the Municipal Partnership Fund from the government. So I'm really glad that we're doing that at KDMA, that we're putting forward our resolution. Yeah, and hope that it's supported by other people, because that's key. And then one more thing, the Premier, when he was speaking, said he wanted to acknowledge the contribution of rural communities and their what they give to the economic, I guess, the money that's earned, right? And it's 109 billion was what he was quoting. Okay, so we had a figure, which I think, I can't remember it, but what was the figure that we said to them that we had contributed in the last 9 years? Like it's
$3.1 billion
from Red Lake.
U.S.
Yes, as a 5,000 and less,
Correct.
yeah, population. So that just, I think we need to really use that card. Yes.
Councillor Christoph, comments?
Yeah, so for Roma, couple talks that I went to in work sessions. The one was about environmental assessments and the updates that they're doing with that, which I found really interesting for a lot of projects going forward. Just how they're classifying, whether there needs to be an environmental assessment done So they've changed Class A, Class B, Class C for certain projects. So there's a lot of projects that we would have had to have done an environmental assessment on, and now you don't have to, which I thought was great, because there was a lot of even things that we've talked about in the past or would like to do, but that cost for that environmental assessment is pretty high. But a lot of projects you don't have to do that now, because in some way it's been done already. So it was really interesting seeing all of that, the different classifications and how that's being updated, which I think will be a huge benefit to municipalities, especially smaller municipalities like us. Another one I went to was the impact presentation, and that one was based on large industry and how they're updating their assessment for 2020. So that was really interesting to learn about that. There were a lot of questions around mines. Cannabis was a big one. Tailings pond was the biggest thing on how that gets taxed. But cannabis was another one. Manufacturers. So that was pretty good, and I believe they're taking steps in the right direction. They're going to be working with the municipalities closer to come up with these assessments and everything. So I'm hoping that they actually do what they say they're going to do. And the other one I do want to mention too is when we met with Minister Urick, we brought up about the blue box and how much our recycling is costing us per year, which is well over $300,000. And even though we're not mandated to, as we've said before, because we're under 5,000, we still believe it's the right thing to do. So we do that. So with the new program with producer responsibility. So one thing that was really good what Minister Urick said is there's a good chance of Red Lake being one of the pilot projects for rolling it out, for being to see if it's going to work and to make sure that it is producer responsible. Is that? I don't know if I missed anything with that, but it was. It sounded really positive. That I did get the sense that they don't realize how expensive it is for us in smaller communities and how far we have to truck it and all that sort of stuff. So they said they were going to put it on the list for us to be one of the, if not the first, small community to run that program. So I thought that was pretty good. Overall, it was a really good conference. I know the mayor and the CAO, you've stressed the importance of relationships and collaborations, and it's amazing that you speak with other councillors and mayors from other communities, not even Southern Ontario, small rural communities. We all have a lot of the same issues. So it's still nice making those connections, meeting with those people face to face and exchanging those emails and phone numbers, so that if you have questions or, hey, you know what, I know you were talking about this is what we did. I found that invaluable. Like, I mean, it's just having those connections so you can have other resources at your hands is well worth that trip. For me anyways, I got a lot out of that, and anyways, I thought that was pretty important.
Well stated, thank you very much, and those relationships do go far. And I'll just make a couple comments just to start off on Minister Urick. I thought he was very open and willing to put Red Lake on the map in regards to this program. We gave the minister the numbers we actually lose dollar-wise per year, and how we transfer our recycling out of province to the closest facility. So I think that was head scratching for him a little bit, but I think he understood it, and again, he committed to putting Red Lake on the map with a pilot project. We spoke with Minister Mulwilly at the MTO. There's another word, commitment. I don't know how strong that is, but a commitment in regarding our crosswalk. But there was some discussion in regards to the reduction of speed limit going through Balmer Town versus a lane change. So we'll see what happens there. We had a good delegation with Heritage Tourism, Culture and Sport with the PA, Mr. Key. And the CAO and myself arranged a meeting for right after that delegation with a gentleman by the name of Pearson. He's the manager of stakeholder relations, and I think our meeting maybe half an hour or so. And we stressed the importance of the REACH facility and how important this is to our region. And he said he'd be getting back to us because we were looking for a delegation with Minister McLeod. Minister of Education, we didn't have a delegation with the minister, but I had a chance to speak with Minister Lecce downstairs in one of the rooms, I guess we call it that. And he was standing right beside me, and Minister Lecce and I have a fairly good relationship, and he stated how supportive he was of our REACH project. And when we had our delegation with PA Oosterhoff, who's an MPP, he wanted our delegation to remind the PA that the minister was interested in our project, and he wanted to be briefed on it at a later date from the PA, so that was also good news. The CAO and myself, we attended a normal board meeting with a lot of ministers there, and I believe we forwarded the minutes of our meetings to everyone on council to see. I also had a chat with Minister Yakubuski from the MNRF. We're going to be getting a meeting with him hopefully face-to-face while we're down over at PDAC. I had a chat with Minister Fideli from Economic Development, Minister Rickford, I can never say this minister's last name, so pardon me, Peter Bethan
Flavy, something like that.
He is on the Treasury Board, and I was speaking with him and his staff, and we're arranging a meeting again, a face-to-face meeting with him when we're down at PDAC or OGRA. Also ran into an MPP, his name's Norm Miller. He's a good friend of Red Lake, and he works for the Premier's office, and we're trying to arrange a face-to-face meeting with the Premier. We also had a meeting with Impact, the CAO and myself, along with Marathon and their CAO, regarding mining initiatives that are common in both communities. That meeting was about half an hour, 45 minutes long. And we did a lot of networking with other communities, but it was fairly busy. So overall, I think it was a very, very good, good conference. Really good conference. Any questions? Okay. So we will now move down to administration reports, 12.1 from the CAO, 12.1A, Prospectors and Development Association of Canada Convention Rebar Display Booth. Mr. CAO.
Okay, so following the 29 PDAC conference, there was some discussion about our booth and our displays. And through those discussions, staff were tasked to look at some options going forward. And as you're there, and we're in booth 352, and this is a prime booth, because 90% of the ministers that come in to enter to go to the Ontario booth, the Ontario Pavilion, they walk right by our booth. So last year, the Premier stopped by, Mr. Rickford stopped by, well, there's other opportunities. We just talked to Minister Yakubuski and a few others. So what we've come up with, we've had our community and communications manager do some research, because she's been well connected to PDAC and organizing our booth and getting our supplies down there. We had her look at a few options, and one option is possible rental of an upgraded booth, or a purchase. So, just give an example, and perhaps, Christina, if you don't mind, if you could put up our booth, our existing booth. So we rent this booth, right? It costs us just over $1,000. We bring down all the pictures, and
Two-way tape as well.
yes, so they're taped on, and if you go to the next slide, please. No, perfect. So here's Sudbury, who is right behind us. And we're not saying we're Sudbury, because, well, people will say there's, you know, there's a difference of perhaps 80,000 people or so. But why can't we be as good as Sudbury? Like, let's not hold ourselves back. So myself and the mayor and Councillor Christophe both visited this booth, and we're quite impressed. So we've come up with an option, and we think it's a good option because the focus in the past, it was 100% mining, or let me rephrase that, 90% mining, maybe 10% community. We think, although it's very important to celebrate and acknowledge our historical and current mining, but let's sell our community more, especially with the amount of traffic we get from high-level individuals. So this is what we are proposing, and again, there's a rental option and a purchase option. So in the past, for the booth itself, it's cost us $2,681 each year, roughly, give or take a few dollars, but that's the cost. If we were to rent this booth, the cost would be $6,097. So that would be a cost every year, perhaps a bit rich for a blood. The other option, and it's quite more appealing than the rental, is the purchase. So the purchase would be $9,014. So keep in mind, and the majority of that, so $7,400 of that would be a one-time cost. And it would take us about approximately 3.4 years to get our money back. So we're committed to PDAC, perhaps that on a go-forward basis, and we want to, realize, a break even or, on our investment, that we should seriously consider the purchase option.
And this could be used at other events as well, too.
Yes, perfect, thank you. The idea is this could be used at other trade shows. It could be when we host a KDMA, could be at job fairs. So it could be utilized even by other organizations in our community. It could be utilized by Highway 105, although they have a nice display, but perhaps this would work for them as well. So I think there's other opportunities beyond the PDAC with this particular booth.
Any questions from council? Councilor Hick.
No, go ahead.
She's go, you're up. Go ahead, Jenny.
No, it was just with regards to, so this comes, it's self-contained, it's shipped up to us, and then we would ship it back to be used each year, right? Okay.
That's what we've done historically with anything that we've had here.
Right.
Everything had to be shipped down there anyways, all our materials.
So the cost of this is what I found really odd, was the cost of the television being $250 in one and $300 in the other, but I don't know what the difference was between the
So
rental.
That's rental.
Yeah, and this one's rental too, though.
So renting is
So-
$250.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
If you're renting the whole thing.
If you're renting the whole thing,
And
then
this
you
is
get
we're
$50.
purchasing,
Okay,
but then we're just renting the TV.
perfect, okay.
So,
But if you're renting it, probably get a TV for $350.
Great,
So-
purchase one, yeah.
But that's not saying that we have to do a TV.
That's right.
Display. We could have other, pictures and stuff.
Or you could do pictures of the community through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Councilor Duke.
Well, I think if you're looking at the cost of renting or buying, it's a no-brainer. Like, for the money wise, I think that's a lot of money. And are we gonna get good use of it other than PDAC, or where are we keeping it, up here?
Well, we would keep it in Red Lake and other organizations, especially if they're out promoting Red Lake and Greenville.
And where would the money come from?
It would come from the 2020 budget. So if you committed to this, then that would be a line item treasurer would input to be part of the 2020 budget.
From what, like, what, from our traffic, like, from?
The operating.
From operating?
The operation.
There could be an argument for capital because it's, our threshold is $5,000. So, and this is something that has a lifespan, right? So we could capitalize it, and then you could make the choice whether to pull it out of a reserve. I could look into gas tax funding because it could, we could say promote tourism to some degree. I'd have to look at the stipulations on gas tax. Or fund with a short-term loan, like a short-term loan.
But if we invested as a capital, you said it's a 3.4-year payback.
Yeah, like I'm fairly certain it can be capital, like it's a display, it's over our threshold, it's an actual asset to us. I'm fairly certain.
And I would think it'd be good for at least 10 years, like,
Yeah.
before it was,
And you can, sorry.
before it needed a facelift of some sort.
So, Council,
Oh, I was just gonna say, so with that, with the, you can easily update it. You can have, if you wanna change pictures or add pictures to it, you can have it made in the same material and you can put that on. We don't have to use tape, we can use something else. You can use, stitch it on even, cause it's like a fabric. That's what I got out of that. It's more of a fabric than a hard material. So I think it can be easily updated at any time, at a minimal cost. I think you could do it pretty cheap.
so if I'm hearing around the table, I'm hearing purchase.
I think so.
So at the end of the first page here, so we have the total cost of $914.50, but I think we should put in the cost, it's a little paragraph just below that, where it's got $93.42.50, because depending on the schedule, sometimes they can take it down, or if we have time, we can take it down ourselves to save money. But for the purpose of the resolution coming forward, I think we should go with the bigger number just to be safe, if that makes sense to everybody. So we'll put in the $93.42.50. Okay, so I'll read this. Moved by Councilor Padu, seconded by Councilor Hager. Resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Red Lake hereby approves the purchase of a backdrop for the Prospectors and Developers of Canada Convention. We should maybe put other use, not just that.
That's council concurrence.
And other use at a total cost of $93.42.50. All in favor? Carried.
I will add that wording to resolution.
Okay. And moving down to new business, item 13.1, support of driving and downloading service board across municipalities. Mr. CAO?
Well, I can briefly speak to it, but so the city of Dry is requesting that other communities support their resolution, and it pertains to the Northwest Health units and the 4%, I guess, cost savings that they're supposed to find. This resolution, the point of it is their city of Dryden is asking the health unit to fund it internally and not pass it on to municipalities who fund the health unit.
Yes, thank you. And that's pretty much the bare bones of it, because we're asked to find savings, and we're asked to operate, and we're asked to find all sorts of different things within our budget. We would also like to ask the health unit as well too, instead of just downloading the 4% directly to the municipalities, where they need to find some dollar savings in their budgets as well. So I'm in support of this resolution along with many other municipalities. And we're just looking to see if this is a message we want to send from our council as well too.
Definitely.
Okay.
Should we look at sending our own resolution?
Yeah, this would just piggyback on Dryden, so it would copy to them and showing support at the same time. We arranged some earlier.
So it's, we're assuming this will be coming to KDMA this weekend, similar to our resolution on OMPF and Crown Land and Patent Land. So they'll be looking for support from the KDMA body itself as well. That's an assumption at this point.
Yeah, it'll be coming forward up to KDMA. And then earlier on in our agenda, it wasn't brought up for discussion, but 813 and 814, we created our own petition for KDMA for the OMPF fund and the undeveloped crown land and patent mining claims. There's other municipalities also doing that as well, so this is kind of a flavor of Northwestern Ontario here. And the mayors that I've been speaking with in regards to the Northwestern Health Unit are also planning on doing these petitions, signing Dryden's petition and moving forward. So I don't think we, in regards to your question, Councilor Duke, I don't think we really need to create one for ourselves, but supporting this shows our support, and the clerk will move it forward appropriately. If that answers your
Okay,
question.
yeah.
Okay, so do I have to approve this then?
Yeah, it's a motion, yeah. It's basically the same wording, but that we support the city of Dryden. It's the same wording as that other resolution that's on the screen. It's basically the same.
So, all in favor? Is there any discussion? Carried. Okay, moved by Councilor Christoph, seconded by Councilor Hager, resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Red Lake hereby adjourns to meet again on the call of the mayor. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.